Today, one more topic that is very important for our today's discussion is to understand the Ganga pollution. Okay, this particular topic, I'm going to cover it in a very comprehensive way, covering GS1 paper. Okay, GS1, GS2 and GS3. Okay, it is not that UPSC will be having a clear boundaries of this particular topic. Okay, we are going to cover all these three areas within the context of Ganga pollution. Okay, but why is it in news? Let us start from there. Okay. First of all, actually before coming to this, we need to understand little things that have happened before. Okay, those details were given in the next slide, but I will tell you those things here so that you'll be understanding what has happened here right now. Okay, in month of May, there were several reports that were coming that the COVID bodies, dead bodies are there, no? They were being dumped in Ganga River. And it is said that this dumping is creating lot of pollution in our Ganga, river Ganga. Okay. So there were several reports, several media houses, several civil society organizations have complained about this. But however, in order to take this further, the ministry has said that we are going to conduct some survey and see the status of Ganga's pollution. Okay, that is why this news is come now that the ministry has reported that particular argument, saying that the water quality, okay, based on responses from pollution control boards of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, okay, it is said that dumping of bodies, okay, did not increase any kind of pollution. That is what the ministry has said. But however, it has said the additionally some more points also. Okay, that is what I have detailed it here. So I told you in May month. Okay, it was said National Human Rights Commission asked Center and several states of Bihar and Uttar Pradesh to furnish a report with regard to the dumping of dead bodies, especially the COVID dead bodies, and then the raising pollution, the debate of raising pollution, the controversy of raising pollution in Ganga and all. But however, with regard to that correspondingly, there was one more news article that was previously there, not in particularly with regard to this news article that appeared today. Previously, there was a context that was developed that CSIR, okay, there is a CSIR affiliated body, the Center for Cellular and Microbiology, okay, there is a body here, which actually said that, can you please mute your mics? Yes, thank you. Okay, there is a particular body, it has conducted research and said that within the sewages as well as wastewaters that we are seeing in the cities, urban areas, the coronavirus is found to be persisting there. Okay, in that sense means it has a correlation for our Ganga River, right? The bodies who have died due to COVID reasons, the dead bodies which are floating in Ganga River can create this kind of trouble. Like the coronavirus can get persisted through this by their presence in River Ganga. Okay, then with regard to this particular task that was given to the center by the National Human Rights Commission, there was a survey conducted across April and June, and it is said that water quality in terms of pH, dissolved oxygen, and then biological oxygen demand, they have all confirmed that the water quality is of bathing quality. Okay, we have seen that River Ganga is used for various ritualistic bathings and all. No, the bathing water quality of this Ganga is very good, but however, there are slight deviations in several locations. Okay, in some of the locations there are slight deviations. Okay, and water quality is observed to be not good in that aspect. Okay, that is the context of the news that has appeared today. Okay, let us see further. Let us shift to the geography aspect, the basics of Ganga river system. Ganga, as we know, it is the largest river basin in India, right? It is actually covering 1/4 of our total area of our country, the geographical land of our country. It is contributing, it is that kind of significant river system, and having a clean Ganga is actually a very humongous task. For any government, right? And then understand how many states it is covering. See, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and then Rajasthan, Bihar, West Bengal, Uttarakhand, that is where it is originating, and then Himachal Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Haryana. The river basin, okay, is covering across these states as well as union territory. Okay, but however, let us see with regard to origin of this river. See this picture, it will clearly make you understand. it is here, Badrinath, there is a glacier called Gangotri Glacier. Okay, from here, river called Alkananda starts. Okay, river called, this blue line, Alkananda starts. Okay, and in these several regions, you can see this is Kedarnath. Okay, this is Gangotri. Okay, Bhagirathi comes from Gangotri. Okay, Alkananda, Badrinath Glacier is separate. Okay, Gangotri Glacier, you will see Bhagirathi coming, and then Yamunotri, you will be having the origin of Yamuna River. Okay, and then at several of these locations, this Alkananda is met by several rivers. Okay, and each river, whenever it is meeting, it is called as separately, it is called as Prayag. The confluence of rivers is considered as Prayag in our Indian language. Okay, when Dauliganga meets Alkananda, it is called as Vishnu Prayag. Okay, and then when Alkananda meets Nandakini, it is called as Nanda Prayag, right? And then when Pindar Ganga meets Alkananda, it is called as Karna Prayag. Okay, right? And Mandakini, when that meets Alkananda, it is called as Rudra Prayag. And then when Bhagirathi meets, it is called as Deva Prayag. Okay, from here, the river system will be called as Ganga. You're getting my point. This is what the origin of Ganga is. And then Yamuna will be meeting Ganga at Allahabad. You know that Allahabad Prayag is there, right? Yamuna will be meeting Ganga at Allahabad Prayag. This is the origin, how the origin of the Ganga is in our country. And then, as I told, this is all the description that I have mentioned here. Okay, you can go through, and then it has many major tributaries. Okay, and we have seen UPSC previously asking questions related to tributaries of Ganga, tributaries of Godavari, tributaries of Brahmaputra. Okay, these questions have come. That is why taking note of them is also very important. Okay, and major tributaries are Ramganga, Gomati. I'll show you the picture so that you'll be able to understand it here nicely. See here. See, Ramganga is one of the tributary. Okay, Gomati, Gaghara, okay, Gandak, and then Kosi, right? These are all important major tributaries of this river Ganga. And then Yamuna is one of the other major tributary, and then Yamuna itself is having several tributaries like Chambal, Betwa. Okay, right. And then one more important tributary is along with Yamuna is Son River. It meets Ganges at Patna city. Okay, remember these facts. And there is also one more river that is called Damodar River, that is also tributary of this Ganges, right? And then before entering into Bangladesh, it bifurcates into several tributaries, distributaries. Okay, Hooghly is one of the distributary. It gets bifurcated into Hooghly and it reaches Bangladesh. Okay, and near in Bangladesh, this Ganges meets Brahmaputra, right? And then it falls into Bay of Bengal, creating huge deltaic region, and then the significant Sundarbans is all found here. Okay, that is with regard to the basics, with regard to geographical basics that we need to learn from the Ganga river system. Okay, let us there are few more points also. We should understand the significance of Ganga also, how significant it is, how much amount of population is dependent on Ganga, the aspect of agriculture, aspect of economy and GDP. Okay, all these aspects all give us the importance, and definitely the clean Ganga is very much important in order to promote tourism, in order to eradicate poverty, right? In order to provide safe and secure drinking water, right? And also to promote employment. And few days back we have talked about inland water transport. Ganga is also important waterway, like national waterway 1 is passing through Ganga basin. In these all aspects, Ganga is very important for us, and cleanliness of Ganga is absolutely necessary for us. Okay, understand the importance also. Okay, almost 600 million urban rural population of India is living along this Ganga river system. And then Ganga basin approximately develops, okay, contributes 40% to our country's GDP. Okay, and then same way, on the contrary, you have seen it passes to the states of UP, Jharkhand, Bihar. These are all which we call as Bimaru states, right? They are highly underdeveloped. There is a high level of poverty there. Okay, so Ganga is also having, the Ganga region, the Gangetic region is also having high incidence of poverty, right? And then there is also problem of pure sanitation, and then unsecure water is also there. Okay, definitely there is a need to push for promoting clean Ganga in order to fight pollution of Ganga. right? From here we'll come to the economic environmental aspect that is covered in GS paper 3, right? So what are the causes of Ganga pollution? Okay, that is what we need to learn. First is religious cause, definitely, right? We are cremating our dead bodies there. Ganga is Kasi river, Kasi is also there, and then near Gaya also there is a religious activity that takes place. Pindadan is going to take place. Okay, all these religious activities and religious bathing and idol immersions, right? Cremations that are going to take place in the river, Ganges river. All these are actually creating lot of waste. That is one of the source of pollution for Ganga river. And then industrial waste along the lines of Ganges river system. There are several industries. Okay, especially the tannery industry, the textile industry, and even the pulp and paper industry are actually leaving several untreated waste into this river system. It is providing, they are not having any kind of hindrance there. The sewage management or the common sewage management system is not properly placed. Okay, that is why this industrial waste is coming into this Ganges river and then polluting it, right? And then there is human waste also, like open defecation we are seeing, right? In several of these rural areas across these states. Okay, there is a open defecation still prevalent, in the sense that though the Swachh Bharat mission has been successful, the result should be coming out. Okay, and then washing of clothes and then activities like bathing and all is also creating some kind of human waste to reach to the Ganges river. And then definitely the agricultural waste, the what do you say, the agricultural residue, the flow of fertilizers, the use of chemical fertilizers, all these things, the chemical fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, weedicides, all these are left unchecked and they flow slowly into the Ganges river system. In that fashion, the agriculture is also one or the other way is contributing towards the pollution of Ganga. Okay, but however, the government has considered all these pollution aspects of Ganga and introduced a program called, there is a program called Namagmi Gange program. Okay, previously there are a few programs, like there is a Ganga Action Plan 1 and 2, but a recent update we'll be seeing with regard to Namami Gange program. The programs previously that were run by the government, okay, the action plan for Ganga, the plan 1 and plan 2 were combined, and then new rejuvenated project has been designed by the government of India very recently. And then it is a 20,000 crore project. Okay, and then it is focusing on having a integrated conservation mission. Okay, with a twin objective. There are twin objectives, that is effective abatement of pollution and then conservation and rejuvenation of river Ganga. You're getting my point. There are two objectives of this program: abatement of pollution. One is that controlling pollution, removing aspect, reducing the pollution within the Ganges system, as well as rejuvenating, in the sense that we need to ensure the flow of Ganges river, optimum flow of Ganges river. That is also very much important. And then that is the twin objectives of this program. Okay, under this program is operated under this department. Okay, Department of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation, which comes under Ministry of Jal Shakti. Okay, and one of the measure in within this program is to discourage the practice of disposing dead bodies. Okay, that is where our challenge is lying now. Okay, no one, because Ganges is considered very sacred, there is a cultural element attached to this, that most of them prefer what you say, cremating their loved ones there, right, near Kasi and Haridwar, these all things. And whenever there is unburnt body left, the normally the people who are handling this cremation, they'll be leaving these leftover bodies in the Ganges river without any proper precaution and all. That is why there is what you say, encouragement to show that the government is trying to provide encouragement towards cremating through electronic ways, electronic cremation. Okay, but however, the most, because the sacredness is there, right, there is a need for lighting of the fire and all. Otherwise, that is where the challenge is also there, right? We need to fight that what you say, behavioral, in a behavioral change aspect. Okay, and then to make sure that this cremation will become more environmental friendly rather than harming this Ganga river system. Okay, let us see some of the main pillars within this program, that is sewage water treatment, right, in order to ensure that sewage waste will not be reaching Ganga, right? And then riverfront development and river surface cleaning. Okay, it is already polluted. And then biodiversity protection. We have seen the Ganges dolphin is important. Ganges dolphin is also important dolphin. Okay, river dolphin, freshwater dolphin that is habitating this Ganges river. In that fashion, biodiversity protection is also focused here. And then afforestation along the Ganges river, it is also very important in order to ensure that there is a percolation of water into the groundwater system, and then abate the pollution of groundwater. Okay, right? And then public awareness, that is very much necessary. And then monitoring of industrial effluent. Okay, that is also very much important, that monitoring in order to ensure that industrial waste is not coming into the Ganges system. And then Ganga Gram, what does this mean? That to make sure that people itself will participate and ensure that Ganga is maintained clean. And then several villages along the Ganga, they were Ganga Gram volunteers are being prepared, and they'll be raising the awareness with regard to cleaning of Ganga, and then ensuring that they'll be volunteering, they'll be having the vigilance role. So public participation is ensured through this within this program through Ganga Gram project. Okay, but and then there are some institutional arrangements that were created in this Namami Gange project. Okay, and first is that National Ganga Council. Previously this National Ganga Council was called as National Ganga Rejuvenation Authority. Okay, but anyway, it was renamed recently to National Ganga Council, and it is changed by Prime Minister. Okay, and it is statutory body established under Environmental Protection Act of 1986. Okay, remember, it is a statutory body, and it has been given the functioning of this is, it has been given the overall responsibility, and in order to have a vigilance superintendence over the implementation of this Namami Gange program. Okay, time to time the Prime Minister will take note of the implementation of this program, and it is ensured that it is mentioned that within this program that this National Ganga Council will meet at least once in a year to take note of the implementation of this program. Okay, at least once this National Ganga Council has to be meeting. Okay, and then there is within this National Ganga Council, there is an implementation wing also, that is called as National Mission for Clean Ganga. That implementation wing is called as National Mission for Clean Ganga. Okay, it has two-tier management structure. Okay, one is Governing Council, which will be taking a little decisions based on the decisions taken by the National Ganga Council, and then there is an Executive Committee which will be implementing the decisions, okay, from the given by the Governing Council. There are two objectives related to National Mission for Clean Ganga, that is to maintain ecological flow. That is what I told you, one of the twin objectives of uh, the program, right? Maintaining minimum and optimum ecological flows of the river. Okay, and therefore ensure the water quality and then environmental sustainability of this river. That is one thing. And then one more thing is same thing, it is trying to control the pollution and then rejuvenate the river Ganga, right? By having intersectoral coordination, in the sense that there are several departments that need to be involved for in order to clean Ganga, right? There is a need for involvement of Ministry of Heavy Industries, right? And the Ministry of Agriculture has to be there, because those two are also creating problem, right? Agricultural waste or industrial waste are also reaching. In that fashion, Ministry of Tourism is also there. Various tourists will actually, without any respect with regard to environment, they'll be throwing their waste there, like the containers and water bottles, tins, and then this related to cool drink tins and all, they'll be throwing without having any responsibility towards the environment, right? In that fashion, the coordinated approach should be there. That is what the focus of this National Mission for Clean Ganga is, the implementation aspect. But however, there are several issues within the implementation also. That is what our discussion should lie also. We are looking, right? We have brought in this program, everything is fine and good. Up till now, everything is good. It is planning is good, everything is good, but the implementation is a challenge for any government scheme. Okay, let us see what are the implementation as well as the issues associated with this Namami Gange program. First thing is related to sewage treatment. One of the important aspect of this program is sewage treatment plants. Okay, establishing sewage treatment plants, and it is estimated that at most the sewage treatment plant should be cleaning at most 200 million liters day of waste, but only it is said that only 328 million liters of day of this sewage water is being treated. It is very less, right? Though we are aiming here, okay, it has been more than 6 years since the project has come, Namami Gange program, or 5 years, right? The aspect of this thing is also with regard to sewage treatment is very, very poor, right? And then the government, these projects, the number of sewage treatment plants that should be established was also having trouble because of these land acquisition problems and then related problems with regard to the governance hurdles, okay, the procedural hurdles. Okay, that is one of the challenge here. Okay, sewage treatment is not up to the mark. And then afforestation drive is also one more aspect with regard to cleaning Ganga. But what is being done is that though it is being spent 104 crore is being spent for afforestation, but the government is planting these trees which are decorative purposes. They are not for rejuvenation. These plants are not good enough to ensure the percolation of water into the groundwater. Okay, that is not required. What is required is planting of people, neem, okay, gular, these kind of trees are required in order to ensure the better conservation of Ganga river, but it is not being done. That is also one of the aspect, okay, the poor in afforestation drive that is being conducted. And then fecal sludge management is also one of the important aspect here. Okay, why is it? Because compared to sewage water, okay, compared to sewage drainage or sewage waste, this is actually having more harmful effect on the environment. That is what regard to biological oxygen demand. When biological oxygen demand of this particular waste will increase, it shows that it is a higher pollutant, okay, compared to sewage waste. And through open defecation program, through Swachh Bharat mission, ending open defecation, and through Swachh Bharat mission, we have established all toilets and all. But the sludge management, okay, the proper management of the sludge is not up to the mark. That is what with regard to this issue with regard to fecal sludge management is. Okay, and then one more thing is rejuvenation and ensuring the optimum flow of river is also very important, right? Why is it? Because rivers itself are having the capacity of self purifying themselves. Okay, and then and for that we need to have an optimal flow of river. Okay, that is very much important. And it is found that except during monsoons, Ganga river flow is very poor. Okay, the flow of river, okay, the water capacity of the river is very poor except during monsoons. Okay, it is going down. Water level in the river is going down at a very unprecedented rate, and it is said that comparatively, compared to 1970s, the basic flow, okay, of river has been decreased by 56%, right? And in order to maintain to ensure that the organic pollutants and all these things, self purification aspect is ensured, we require uh, at least a minimum flow of river. It is said that once if we ensure the proper flow of river, okay, at almost 60 to 80% of organic pollutants can be what do you say, can be reduced within the river system. The river itself will what do you say, help itself in purifying itself. So in that fashion, the optimum flow of river is completely not focused upon properly, right? That is one of the challenge. That is another challenge here. And then cost overruns, the financial problems. Okay, this is a cleaning up of this massive stretch. See, this is a river system having this 2,500 kilometer stretch, and financing this river system at each location, okay, and focusing on different industries, right, is very humongous task. And it is observed that in order to create a proper sewage network itself, almost 1/4 of the entire outlay of the entire 20,000 rupees outlay is actually required for creation of the proper sewage networks. But however, SCAG has reported recently that saying that there is a pure financial management. It has audited the program. It has audited where the expenditure is growing, how the expenditures are being laid. Okay, all these things are monitored by the CAG, okay, Comptroller and Auditor General of India, and it has said that it has come out with a report saying that there is a pure financial management. Okay, And then that is one more problem here. Then there are governance problems too, government's problems with regard to administration, because that is coordination. The departments are not coordinating well. That is what the one of the issue here. Okay, though the memorandum of understandings were signed between various ministries, there is no proper action displayed by these ministries. What are they doing? They are not providing. But however, they have signed the memorandum of understanding that will be coordinating. They said, for a namesake, they have said that we are going to coordinate, but on the paper they are coordinating, but on the ground they are not. The coordination is not seen. Okay, that is one of the administrative challenge. And then institutional challenge, I said previously that National Ganga Council should at least meet once in a year, but since its inception it hasn't met even even once, except during 2019. Okay, only in 2019 December it has met. The body national okay, uh, National Ganga Council has met. Otherwise, it has not having any other meeting other than that one meeting since its beginning. Right, and this is one of the data with regard to poor financial outlays. Okay, see, only 19% of funds are being utilized for sewage infrastructure. Okay, and then C is for biodiversity protection. Okay, only 61% of funds are utilized. Okay, and then infrastructure, institutional development. Okay, for all things, for monitoring everything, for monitoring the whole program, only 3.3% of the spends. Okay, funds are being spent. And then for afforestation, 48%. Right, and then for bioremediation, no funds at all. Okay, bioremediation is natural way of abating pollution. There are bacterial microbes that will be placed in the polluted area, and those bacterial microbes or anything will be eating away that pollution. Okay, that is what is called as bioremediation. Okay, and there is no fund allocation here. That is a most natural and most best way, the better way to abate pollution and clean the river surface pollution, right? And then there are entry level activities also. There is also poor funding. Okay, all these aspects show that there is still a lacuna. There is still a lack of seriousness with regard to cleaning of Ganga. Definitely, even after providing support, even various governments like UK government, as Germany government, all these have gone, international countries have also told have come forward to ensure the cleanliness of this Ganga, and they have provided some of the financial aids. And then even World Bank is also involved in providing the aid to the government. Okay, to give the financial support as well as the technical support to the government. But even then, where our progress with regard to cleaning Ganga has been little poor, I should say. And then what is the whereabout? How can we go ahead? Okay, this cleaning of this massive river system is a humongous task, but still we need to have some what is called as proactive coordination, and then unquestionable scientific intervention. Whatever the interventions that we need to take in order to ensure proper flow of the river, in order to ensure cleaning of this river surface, as well as preventing the pollution from coming into the river, from falling into the river, all these things should be taken care of through scientific means. And then necessarily the financial support. Of course, now due to the physical constraints, probably this program might face little more difficulties in the next coming years, but definitely a financial support is one of the aspect that the program has to be ensured, or the government has to take care of. And then lessons from international experience should also be taken into consideration. For example, several countries have combined together to clean the Rhine river. Okay, that flows in Europe and drains into the North Atlantic Ocean. Okay, the Rhine river has been very beautifully cleaned by several countries combining together, and that kind of international experience can be gained by India by taking help from those countries also, right? So, and then Israel can also help in order to provide us technology in order to clean the river systems in one or the other way. Okay, in that fashion, the international experience and international cooperation should be taken in order to ensure the cleaning of our Ganga system. Okay, that is with regard to the topic that I wanted to discuss here. If you are having any doubts, I'll take it.
No, sir.
Okay then. Okay then. Thank you very much. We'll meet you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.